I thought there was a few more.
We were down 8 feet from that thing.
We exited executive session at 7:06. We had a motion by Doug and seconded to approve the August 2nd, 2021 minutes. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved. Visitors to be heard. Mr. Lou Gertson.
Yes.
You're up, sir.
Well, we talked about the dog park before, and Jerry got a proposed site here, and that's a little variable. I'm gonna meet with Greg, and we're gonna make sure there's enough space between the trees for the mowers. And we'll have a gate on the end, so that you can get the mower inside of there, so it's not a push deal, mower deal. And water is 20 feet away. We get that done, and you have an anonymous donor that offered to pay for the whole thing. Pay for everything. So,
Good job, Lou.
I'll just, you know, I guess I'll go and talk to the fence company again, as long as that's okay with you guys, and get her an exact price. And then we'll let them find it out. The husband might not be too happy, but she's making the call.
Will they draw up to something that we would actually present them? Something that's gonna show the staging area and all that kind of stuff. I know you've got some stuff there, but it'd be nice to have that.
Oh, that
So we
will.
know exactly what we're getting
We
here.
have to do that so that the dog, you can take the dog in, take it off the leash. Because if you just open it up and there's other dogs in there, or you do let it off the leash and it takes off. Or you go in there with your dog on the leash, shut the gate, open the second gate, and go on in. You know, the owners have to have some responsibility with their dogs. All dogs are gonna sniff everybody. They're gonna check it out, and if they aren't gonna get along, you know, come back later. But most dogs, once you get them off the leash, you know, the barking stops and everything. They're all over the parks, and once people get used to them, they'll be used all the time. And we aren't taking up any parking spots for the park or for the ball field. You know, it says do not park on grass right there, but I would bring it back far enough to where if you have some big tournament, they're gonna make an exception and do that, but not encourage it. And it also keeps farther away from the houses to the east.
Who made this map? You did?
I just drew it out there.
Oh, okay.
All I did was take where we had our horseshoe area. There used to be a fence around the
Right.
horseshoe area. So I just took that, so now here's 100 by 60.
I just didn't know if he did it, and I just
No.
wanted to make sure that Greg is 100% in the loop on the deal. That's all, the only thing I was gonna add in, but if you did the map, you already all know all that, so.
You've talked to Greg also, right?
Yes, yes, and we're gonna mark it out either tomorrow night or Thursday night. I got a meeting tomorrow afternoon, I don't know if he'll do it in the evening, and I got doctor's appointment in the morning on Thursday, so it'll be after
Do
that.
we have to prove it then, if it's a donation and we're putting it out there, or?
I think you just have to probably approve the location. We'll have the design here eventually. But I'd like the location for sure approved by you guys, because it is on city land. I don't know if neighbors will object, you know, typically if we do anything like, if there's any barking, we might have some neighbors that will object.
We need to hear on there.
We have to put up a public notice at the location,
I-
or?
What was your thought? I don't know that we would have to do something like that, other than as a courtesy, we might advise them. And of course,
You're just gonna open a can of worms, it's city property.
once they're there though, and the dogs start barking, then they're gonna say they didn't know anything about it coming in. So that's the reason I always.
Do they need to know?
Yeah, could we have, like, Elaine put something on Facebook that we're gonna potentially put one in there, and if anyone,
Something like, yay, Beresford's gonna have a dog park. utilizing the old horseshoe pad.
It'll have the same hour restrictions as the city park.
Or, you know.
It'll have the same hours restrictions as the city park.
Yep.
That should squall any noise issues, right?
Yep.
So,
Is that something we can do? Or can we take comments like
It would be
that?
nice if we had that drawing that we could provide with those.
Pardon?
If we could have that drawing, if you go up to
Yeah.
one of the fence guys and have them draw it out, and then we could lay it on the top so they kind of know where it's at exactly. You know, I think that's just courtesy to the people around there.
Yeah.
You know, the first thing to think about dogs is they're gonna bark, and they think, well, as soon as you get into a dog park, they're gonna think they're gonna bark all the time, so.
No,
You just gotta squelch that a little
Don't
bit.
stress it's gonna be park hours. And in all the dog parks I've been, I have never seen it. But if some of these people are worried, have a sign printed that, you are responsible for your pet. The city in no way is liable for any injuries or vet bills.
That's what I've written down notes. I think as we get closer, we need to get Greg, well, some signage and some rules, whether it's shots, tags, whatever it is.
Those are questions that are gonna definitely be asked by people, so.
Well, we'll have that.
Del Rapids is doing one right now too, so they're, we can get a lot of the stuff that they've already gone through this process, and they've probably answered a lot of the
Who's
questions.
that?
Del Rapids,
And Del Rapids just got a $25,000 grant from the state to do one. How long they have to wait for their money, I have no idea. If you wanna come to grants and stuff.
Do we need to vote on the location?
I think the proposed location would be at the Beulah Park. Yeah, I think, moving forward, I think we should do that anyhow.
Can we do that tonight?
Yeah, I think we can get that, at least get that ball rolling, because then Lewis feels a little more comfortable moving forward with it and getting the rest of it done.
Because to order materials and then line up their time, who knows how busy they are. The one company had the plastic coated, the other one didn't. They would have had to order. And the way things are being shipped these days, it could be 2 months, and they aren't gonna put it up in the winter.
is that the exact dimensions?
No.
60 by 100?
We don't know what the dimensions are, because depending upon where Greg can work around. It's gonna get smaller by the trees there.
So there's
You see where it comes right up to the trees? It's gonna come out. Because he's gotta be able to maintain that and get a lawnmower and stuff in there.
it'd be futile to vote on anything now, I mean, until we have a final dimensions and we can lay them on the map, and then just one approval for a location, why two? We don't even know the exact size yet, so do you think we should have all that before we make any kind of
As long as you
motion?
guys are good with this location, that's my biggest thought.
Right now, it's just a proposal.
You don't wanna go through with the plan if you're saying that's not a location we consider.
I don't think, no.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Can we make like a comment with that, this park?
There's a lot of running.
Can we take
A lot of organization here to get everybody rolling.
But one approval tonight
We'll have it drawn out.
is only contingent on the final approval later, so.
Yep.
You
You can still have that down, Lou. Either way.
Well, I'm in and out of Sioux Falls all the time,
Right.
and as long as you get that, Rick and I lay it out.
For the dog,
I'll,
the dog park contingent on approval from the council and specific specifications for, by the baseball field that is drawn out around about that area.
Yep.
In the city of Beresford, South Dakota, and as you made a comment that the person's gonna pay for most of the stuff.
yeah. She did everything.
Well, that's the comment, so we need a little more, specific stuff, but I mean, I'll make a motion for that, based on that.
For a second.
We need dimensions and stuff, so.
We'll have those.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Schott, seconded to approve the location of the proposed dog park contingent on final design approval. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approved. There you go.
Thank you for all your time
Thank
and
you.
energy, your phone calls, coming by the house, and appreciate everything you
Yeah.
do for the city.
Well, I forgot the meeting, and you guys were out of here in a heartbeat last time.
Banging and kicking on my door and everything. I got the door open, though, it was another half an hour meeting, but I got it open. I told him to talk to Jerry.
They're already working overtime now, Lou. After last meeting, 15 minutes, you know.
Well, you guys have a good meeting.
Thank you.
God bless you, thank you.
Next visitors to be heard, Mr. Jeff Gross and Mr. Brian Lemaster.
Just want to make the council aware, we've got a couple good events, annual events that we always have in town with the school. First one is homecoming, that's the lesser of the one that we're going to address, but that's going to be this year on September 17th. And then, of course, the Hall of Fame induction into the Watchdog Hall of Fame and the various school pillars that we have, academics, athletics, fine arts, and service. That'll be on the evening of the 18th, Saturday. It's slipping my mind if it's at the Bridges this year or at the school. This year we have it at the Bridges, I'm being told. So we appreciate letting us use that as well. The thing that we have started to do over the last few years with both the homecoming parade and then also what Brian's going to address here a little bit more with the band competition that is on the next weekend, which is September 24th, the Friday, is blocking off of 3rd Street here. Helps for safety, helps for flow, with just keeping vehicles off of that while we've got the parade route there. We appreciate it greatly for homecoming. It just helps because we do have our marching band that comes down there. We got floats, we got kids, all of that stuff. Helps for people to view things better, we think. But for the competition on the 24th, it's an absolute necessity, and the police department has helped us out, and the street department has helped us out with that in the past, and we appreciate that. Basically, we would need it from Maple to Birch. Birch is the one down by the funeral home here, correct? Spruce. Spruce is by the funeral home, so right where the boulevard starts down at the north end here, so.
Funeral home.
Yeah.
I just got one question.
Yes.
You mentioned 3 dates.
Yep.
Now you want this block the 17th, 18th, and the 24th?
Just the 17th and the 24th.
Okay, just so we got it clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you've done that in the past for us.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other thing with the band competition, I think last time we held that, this is the 5th annual planning of the event. We were not unable to have it last year, so this will be the 4th one that's actually held. But we've had around 25 to 30 bands here every day, every time. Anywhere from probably around 650 to 750 band members here.
At least.
So
It's one of the biggest things we do.
brings a lot of people into town. Many of you have seen it, I'm sure. But we enjoy that. It's the 2nd biggest band competition in the state now, behind the Festival of Bands up in Sioux Falls, so we're proud of that. Mr. Lemaster had the vision to do this and has pulled it off. You allowed us to use from the electrical department to set up the stage for us. We'd like to use that again right out here by your office, Tom, if that's allowable. So we've appreciated that help. I've worked with Mr. Kropensky to get streets blocked off and stuff. New police chief now since the last time we worked on it, but I got a good working relationship with Mike, so I don't see that as an issue. What other things are we asking for, Brian?
I think that's about it. I think the parade starts at 10. Depending on the number of entries, we might back that up to 9:45. The issue is to try to make sure that schools have an opportunity to get home for their route. So generally, we probably need it blocked off on the 24th from 8:30 to 12:30.
Do you have school that day?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we have school on both the 24th and the 17th. The parade on the 17th is at 1 o'clock.
So you'd want it blocked off after school gets started, probably, on that morning.
On the
Yes.
17th?
No, the 24th.
Yeah, if we block it off starting about 8:30, allow parents and the girls to drop their kids off here and then block it off after that after school started, that would be fine.
I just got one question. Don't mean to interrupt. Is the school or the city paying for use of my houses, or we're not gonna use them?
We're taking care of that.
Yeah, because it's 4 hours. I don't.
Yeah, we've, We've set up an outhouse over by the elementary school in the past. Set one up down here, I guess it would be on 4th Street and Spruce down here. And then we put one over here by the old auto shop, auto parts shop. So.
Appreciate it.
And then the library has been gracious enough to let people in too, so, but we don't want everybody.
Do we vote on the road closures, or?
We'll probably put that on the next agenda.
Okay.
Because I didn't specifically have them on the agenda for the road closings, so. But, you know, is there anything else that you guys need closed by the school for setup or any of that kind of stuff?
That is, we go around, we put a letter, basically the route goes, what would that be? I don't remember the street. Anyway, we go around the whole route and we give letters to every house so they know what's coming around. We ask them to park off the street that day but we don't. You know, we're not expecting you to move that. We're just trying to be good neighbors and let people know that there's gonna be people in the area.
So what you need is just boulevard to boulevard, pretty much on the September
Yes.
17th and the 24th.
Yeah.
Homecoming and the parade competition, okay.
Yeah.
You don't need any of those side streets over there, you don't think?
We would certainly appreciate it. Like I said, we're happy with the letters that we've done in the past.
You work around that.
And people have been very cooperative. I mean, it's not been an issue at all.
Okay.
So,
As long as you're happy with it.
yeah.
I mean, second biggest one in the state, we can probably block off a few city streets if we need to. I'm just throwing that out.
Yep.
So,
If you want a motion, we would.
you just let us know which ones, if you've got one, like two more.
We have 2 performance areas. We have a performance area out here on 3rd Street, and then we also have all the elementary kids go out and watch it from the north side of the elementary school.
You've never had a problem with traffic?
No, that's mainly, well, what I'm saying, I guess I misunderstood that. Yes, the Keith has put up barricades on those streets so we don't have traffic going through, correct? What I was thinking of the parking issue, I'm sorry. Yeah, Keith has put the barricades up, yes.
So then, yeah, just give Jerry a list of the streets that you want the barricades up on, and we'll include all those in the deal.
Sounds good.
Just to clarify a little bit, on homecoming day, the cars always park downtown, and they try to get here early in the morning. So you don't want any cars parked on there, so we would.
There's been 2 years, I think, I'm going off my memory here, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, but we've had 2 years where the homecoming parade and the band parade have been on the same day. And on those days, we haven't had any cars parked down here. It's been fantastic for performance and safety and everything else. So yes, it would be appreciated from the school district if we didn't have cars down here, but I understand there's tradition and all of that stuff too. The cars have parked down here in the past. It does make it difficult for our band to get through.
It's just a safety issue. I think it's a huge safety issue.
I agree.
Because there's hundreds of people.
Yes.
There's 12 side streets they can park on.
Just want to make sure we do it correctly, so.
The stage is one thing. What about power? You need any more power than the stage?
I think there's been connections out here that have worked well. So that's all been good.
Something other than the stage, Jerry's the guy to talk to, might help you out a little bit. I couldn't make a list. Thank you.
And we would meet with the different city departments individually too. We've got stuff for that, or, notes and agendas from past meetings, so.
Appreciate everything you're doing for the city. Thank you very much.
We enjoy doing it. I wish we could do it more.
It's a big year, let me tell you, like Troy said, the boys won, the girls won, Sioux Falls. We got a lot of advertisement for this part of the country, let me tell you. It's good.
And with that being said, our enrollment at school is about 720 in the district right now, so we're growing that way too, which is about 20 more kids than we had last year when we left in the spring. I know I'm off topic here, but I don't know if that's been related to you guys yet, so. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
No committee reports, department head for Lynn Johnson, please.
So, in the council packet, not too long, your place sitting there, is the July financials. Report on the east substation expenses for July. We paid out $326,393, and The fiber to the home project is really winding down. In July, we paid out $19,461. The Cablevision had quite a big expense in their cable sub-equipment. However, they have 2 large security camera projects that they're working on, so we'll see revenue once they get those cameras installed. So they went a little bit over budget purchasing the equipment, but once the projects are paid for, we'll get the money back. The golf course is looking really good. And I think they've had 2 large tournaments already this year, so August I think will be a good month for them. The liquor store is looking good. The pool's wrapping up. Right now we're still shy of what we brought in for revenue in 2018, but it's one of the top revenue ones we've had for a while. Any questions?
Who makes a motion to accept the July 2021 financial report as stated by Elaine Johnson?
Second.
Motion by Boone, seconded to accept the July 2021 financial report. Any further discussion?
Is there a transfer or some kind of funds that gonna hit the phone?
We have one more grant payment coming that we will submit everything mid-September.
How much is that one?
200,000.
So they're showing a loss of 600, so we had all the funds coming from various sources to cover that fiber. So is there money coming from a CD or something yet that's gonna?
The CD's already in there, and also the South Dakota Fit. There is only $425 in the South Dakota Fit.
So the rest of the money to pay for that project that we had, where's that coming from?
When we do the budget for these, the cash used out of the cash accounts isn't actually an income item. So it's cash applied at the bottom when we have a negative balance. So we've used our money to pay for these expenses. We're just gonna run a deficit for the year.
At the end of the year, when we make adjustments, that'll get.
An enterprise fund, so it doesn't have to be
It doesn't have to
positive.
be?
It
Okay.
doesn't have to meet the budget that we set. But we can talk about that more too. I know we need to meet as a finance committee to kind of go through some of these transfers and different things that we normally do on an annual basis. So I guess that's the best I can explain it, is you have your income, your expenses, and your cash applied at the bottom. Cash applied isn't it isn't income earned, so it doesn't go in as a positive.
That didn't make sense to me yet.
It doesn't make
We
sense
have
to
our
me
finance
either,
committee,
apparently.
we have our finance committee meeting, and you
Sure,
can explain it further to me, so.
Yes. It's just like, let's say, I'm just gonna do a really quick example. You have your income coming in from your wages, but yet you spent more, you had to dip into your savings to pay for it. We've dipped into our savings and our CD to pay for it, but we've overspent what we've brought in cash this year.
We don't actually put that
We don't
in the
make
ledger
that.
somewhere to get rid of this negative number.
Right, exactly.
We don't do that.
We don't.
Okay.
No, we just have a loss that we
All
have to
right.
pay out of our savings.
I didn't know if someday those parentheses were gonna disappear or what, so.
It'd be nice, but
Next year we start with 0, so it'll be gone next year.
Right, sure. There you go. Okay.
it's probably the first year in a long time that the telephone has looked like that. But it's also the first time we've had this
Well,
large of a
right.
project, but
And we rely
And
on,
we did take out a huge loan.
we didn't take out a single one.
And consider we do have 5 months left of the year.
right,
We're
more
all-
revenue coming in.
And
It's
every day
just,
there's someone coming in.
we always transfer out to the general fund at the end of the year there, and
And we're not.
we're not gonna be able to. So, okay.
No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. New business, finance pay request to Urban Cable for the fiber line.
Okay, we were, Bar's recommended that we go ahead and pay the final, amount due of $185,575.7905. They have not billed us for this, however, by the contract, we need to pay them by August 25th. We have taken liquidated damages of $291,000 out of the amount that, we had previously talked about, so they're gonna make, instead of the final contract being $3.725 million, we're gonna pay them $3.420. We have not heard anything back from them as far as liquidated damages, so we assume if they're not contacting us, and we'll just take that out and we'll send them the final amount, and we will be within the contract guidelines, so we will not be the cause of the problem here to cause any issues, so we'd like to go ahead and pay that.
How much were the damages again, like 291?
$291,000.
Shall I make a motion to pay $185,579.05 as Jerry signed stated for final payment on the contract between Beresford Municipal Telephone Company and Urban Cable Construction LLC.
Roden second that.
Motion by Schott, seconded to authorize the final pay request to Urban Cable for the fiber home project in the amount of $185,579.05. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Banner engineering agreement.
Last meeting we talked about hiring Banner to do some initial design work, cost estimate work on some different locations for a four baseball, softball field complex. Some of the planning that they'll do is they'll do a kickoff meeting with a group of people, develop some preliminary concepts, develop a final concept, and provide some plans with cost estimates. The total amount is $4,850 for that work, and then I think they've got a $150 budget for any type of copies, things like that they might need to make. So we'd like to move forward. They're giving us an August 16th start date, which would be today, with completion date by October 15th. So that will give us some good, more workable numbers that we can look at a couple different sites. So we want to move forward with that. So we'd like to have your approval to.
Shall I make a motion for Banner engineering agreement as Jerry signed stated to provide cost estimates for the baseball field expansion.
The total amount, $5,000.
Correct.
Total $5,000, total $485 plus approximately $150 for copying, which totals $5,000.
Roden second.
Motion by Schott and seconded to authorize $5,000 payment to Banner Engineering for the agreement. Any further discussion?
I have a question, Jerry, what you handed us, is that just their contract with us? Isn't there anything in it yet?
This what?
That's just the contract?
Correct.
Okay.
And they do have owner city of Millbank, but it should say city of Beresford, which will make that change in the one that Nathan signs.
Oh. Yeah, I caught that too.
No further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion for municipal subsidy drawdown in the amount of $3,500 for the Chamber of Commerce for old-fashioned leafing. Is there a motion to approve?
Roden makes a motion to approve the subsidy drawdown for Beresford Chamber of Commerce for fiscal year 2021 in the amount of $3,500.
Shot second.
Motion by Doug and seconded to approve the municipal subsidy drawdown from Chamber of Commerce in the amount of $3,500. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Is there a motion to accept the resignation retirement letter from Officer Krebs?
I can make a motion to accept resignation / retirement letter from Officer Krebs.
Roden second.
Motion by Stager and seconded to accept the resignation of traffic call from Officer Krebs. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Accepted. Seasonal hire for Public Works, looks like they want to hire Chris Kopensky at the rate of $12.35 per hour.
Should I make a motion to hire Chris Kopensky for $12.35 an hour, beginning rate for grounds maintenance for the street department?
Motion by Schott, seconded to authorize the seasonal hire of Chris Kopensky at the rate of $12.35 an hour. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Set a special meeting date for a joint public hearing with the Beresford Planning Commission on August 30th, 2021.
So the state marijuana regulations in the process of being finalized, we need to have in place a modification to the zoning ordinance, which requires a lot more process. So the planning commission needs to meet, have a public hearing, and make a recommendation to you for a change to the zoning ordinance, which would indicate the locations where a dispensary could be located, or there's 4 different types of medical cannabis establishments. There's testing, manufacturing, cultivation, and dispensaries. Most commonly what cities are doing is putting the dispensaries would have to be in a commercial or general business district. The others could be in a light or heavy industrial. They're all going to be heavily regulated by the state. And then the other part would be a licensing fee. And again, with the league, municipal league, most commonly they're saying is $5,000 annually for a dispensary. Those are annual license renewals. If you want to put a cap on licenses, you can. Your cap cannot be 0. By state statute, they have to be 1,000 feet from any public or private school. If you want to put in any other restrictions in terms of locations, you can do so. Jerry Lane and I met last week. That becomes a little more problematic because you start eliminating a lot of places. You start doing churches or parks or daycares or all of those things. But the state requirement is only 1,000 feet. Cannot be within 1,000 feet of the public school, which a good share downtown is going to get taken out of that. I think the north, like for Savings Bank and North, perhaps would be eligible, but think about those things. We'll put out a draft of a proposed ordinance, and I'll have Jerry get that out to you well in advance so you have a chance to go through it. But if you want to have those in place when the state goes online, we need to go forward with the hearing and adoption of the ordinances at your September 7th meeting, so that can be published and effective somewhere around 1st of October. I can't remember what be right at the 1st of October, wouldn't it? So,
Is the state leaving the rule in there about if we allow a dispensary in the city, then it's illegal to grow it at home? There was something in the original law where if we didn't allow a dispensary in the city, then people they had to follow certain rules, but could grow their own marijuana at home. Or was that only for the recreation one? That's right. Okay, never mind.
medical, they do say that you cannot totally prohibit.
Growing at home?
No, prohibit the location of a dispensary.
I got you.
Now, if you want to put a limitation on how many you can, I think, Sioux Falls is suggesting 5. Some other cities I'm working with, Palms, Hartford, their zoning committee is recommending don't put a cap. The market will take care of that for you. If you have 3 or 4 people that want to pay $5,000 a year and set up shop, so be it. There's restrictions, the state's put restrictions on what they can do for signage. You can't have marijuana leaves. all those sorts of things that you might associate with it. It's gonna be pretty heavily regulated.
My one request is, when we publish it, could we add something to the verbiage that identifies this as a marijuana-related or dispensary or medical? Because the way it's written, I messaged Jerry earlier today, I'm like, what is this even about?
Right.
Okay.
This is the hearing part, yeah.
This is just a notice of hearing, but we can add that.
But I mean, just something so that when somebody
Sure.
reads this, they're gonna know what that actually
Put it
means.
back in.
It's there, but I mean, if we can get something added to it first thing tomorrow morning, we can call and try to get a hold of
So,
I mean, it doesn't even have to be, as long as they didn't have that
Type,
spot
just
reserved.
something that says the following pertains to,
Sure.
you know, or something that.
we can do that.
Like, we have a way to get a hold of them right away in the morning.
The paper?
Is there anyone there? Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but if we don't set our own, then we fall back on the state.
Well, no, then you don't have rules in place, and then you,
And that's, I don't think what we want, so we definitely need to make sure.
I think you wanna have some control locally as to what's gonna happen. You're already gonna have some limitations just because, I mean, if it's central business or general business districts, where you could have a dispensary, and it's not within 1,000 feet of a school. Like I say, you eliminate most of downtown, you're probably gonna have some along 46, strip malls along 46 would be.
It has to be in a commercial zone area, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can put whatever you want, but yes, from a practical standpoint, yes.
I got a question. Do they charge city tax
Sales
on the
tax,
sales?
it'll be medical, so I doubt it. Be like prescription drugs, I don't think they charge sales
The
tax.
tax is set already.
Well,
The
the
The tax is collected by the state.
You can't
The
grant
licensing fee is going to be,
Yeah, but that's medical marijuana. I'm talking about they open a regular reefer shop. Can we add like a sales tax, 1 cent or something to the reefer?
That's not approved yet, but that's not even.
Oh,
that's us
they're-
our courts.
Oh, okay. Just asking. We gotta make money somewhere.
I don't think you can change the sales tax on that, I think it's already set in statute.
All right, well, that's fine.
So the medical companies
Just like
collect
prescription
it
drug,
and they submit it to the
right?
state.
Right.
Tom, is that what you said?
What's that?
Be just like
It could
prescription
be
drug.
like prescription, yeah, because it's medically, you gotta have prescription and a medical card or whatever they call them those, so.
We need a motion to set that date on August 30th. So Doug moves to approve or set up a special meeting with the Beresford Planning Commission on August 30th, 2021 at 5:30 PM.
For a second.
Second.
Motion by Doug and seconded to set a special meeting date for a joint public hearing with the Beresford Planning Commission on August 30th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. Any further discussion?
One second. Is that at City Hall here?
Yeah.
Library?
Right.
That's all right. At City Hall. Okay, thank you.
Further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Next meeting is September 7th, which is Tuesday. Discussion items, Troy.
So at the last meeting, I did a little spiel about just reminding council members of our limited authority we have. And during the process, I unintentionally, was oblivious to the fact that during the process, I unintentionally insinuated that I was talking about wills. I just wanted to publicly apologize to Will. Was not referring to Will at all during my spiel. Just as a general reminder to all council members about our role and our authority and our limited authority as members of the council. And so, like I said, I just unintentionally, and Will wasn't the only one that took it that way. I was the only one that didn't realize how I was coming across, and I apologize. So, just wanted that on the public record.
We have no travel requests, correct? Is there a motion for payment of the bills?
That makes motion, paying the bills. City of Beresford, South Dakota.
Motion by Shot and second to authorize payment of bills, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion to adjourn,
Do moves, we adjourn?
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
That far longer than the last one.
Are you gonna blame leadership for that, Troy?
Right after that.
Are you
The
saying,
YouTube video.
are you saying when you were mayor, it was done?
No.
You know, they got back. It took 45.
What did you want to say now? Oh.
Hey, Art.
You wanna change that where it says no bank to, okay?